Hey, thanks for checking out the Aaron Advantage podcast. Today I am joined by Laurel Meny, and Greg Keith is making his first appearance on the podcast.
I'm back, people.
All right. Laurel, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Yeah.
How did
Happy to be here.
Greg talk you into this?
Greg talks me into a lot of things that I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I'll do it. So
Sounds good. So I think he really came to me first and foremost and was like, hey, man, why don't we do a podcast and recap the second annual Halloween in the park? And I was like, that's a fantastic idea. And then I said, why don't we get somebody who looks better on camera than we do to actually be the person to do this? And he's like,
well,
thanks. We can do that. Yeah.
So you're the best looking out of three people in the room. Congratulations.
thanks. It's an honor.
It's a low bar. Let's be real
Yeah.
honest. But hey, you win. So anyways, second annual Halloween in the park. Tell us a little bit about that event.
I think to sum it up, I would say it was crazy. It was totally crazy, in a really good way. We hosted that event last year in the midst of COVID craziness, thinking that kids weren't going to get to be able to trick or treat, and I hated that idea, especially because I have children.
Right.
So I figured the safest way to do it was to get outside and have businesses get involved and get kids in the parks where we knew we could be safe. So then it sort of blossomed into an annual thing. So of course we were going to have it again this year, and it was again, like I said, crazy.
COVID craziness was bad enough last year, and then this year we had rain.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So if we can do it in COVID, and then we can do it in a rainstorm, we can do it next year. We can go through anything. I think.
I think it'll be a cakewalk from this point on. Yeah?
Well, let's hope. I don't know what to expect next year.
Snowstorm.
Yeah, great. Thanks,
It is
Greg.
Southwest Indiana. Thanks,
Don't put
Greg.
that out there.
Yeah.
Please don't put that out there.
Let's edit that out of this video, hopefully.
So what was the growth plan from last year to this year? Like, what did you hope to throw in there that maybe you didn't the first year after testing the waters?
So, okay, I'll just start again from last year. When I left my house, I tell this to everybody. When I left my house that day, when I planned Halloween in the park, we didn't have reservations. You don't sign up for Halloween in the park. So when I left my house, I told Brad, I'm extremely nervous. I feel like there could be no one there. Like, I have no idea what to expect. And then we had probably 2,000 people show up at the park. So going into this year, we hoped that we would have at least as many as we had last year. So 2,000 people. So we planned for that. But we added in some things that we didn't have last year. So last year was basically just trick-or-treating. We had a movie afterwards, but we found that didn't work as well because it's later when the sun sets.
Right.
So we thought that wasn't a good idea.
Right.
So this year we added in, a magician, a tarot card reader, a photo booth, a bar, a snack bar.
Hay rides.
Hay rides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Full disclosure, since we were at a vendor table, I saw none of those things because it was so packed full of people.
Yeah, I'm taking your word for it. I did not know there was a tarot card reader.
I saw a schedule of things going on, and I was like super excited.
You guys
to go
were
see
kind
some
of
magic.
stuck at your booth.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. And I can imagine as a first-time vendor that you were probably like, yeah, because I can tell people until I'm blue in the face that there's going to be 3,000 people there for to be prepared for that. But until you see 3,000 people walk through,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, so this is what it is.
That's what 3,000 people looks like.
I think we went through 6,000 pieces of candy and over 500 koozies in 4.5 hours.
Yeah, and shout out to Greg, stroke of genius over here. He's like, hey, Aaron, take a couple sleeves of koozies over to the bar. So we had the bar just handing them out for us,
I
too.
had a koozie on.
Yeah, I was
Of course, it
That's
was
the way
good.
to
Pro
go.
move.
Pro
Yeah.
move.
Pro
from Greg
move.
Keith.
Really repping you guys while we're drinking our beers.
That's right. Actually, the funny thing is, and I won't throw her name out here because I told her I wouldn't do this in front of her boss, but there was another realtor at a booth next to ours who was there for something else, and she had one of my koozies on her can, and I was like, hey.
Our koozies.
Our koozies, yes, sorry.
You
had one of
should have
our
taken a
koozies,
picture.
and I said I was going to, and she was like, please do not. So you know who
you're
you
nice.
are. If you're watching this or listening, you know who you are.
You're way too nice.
So you make some bang on this event. What does it go to?
So the Warrick Parks Foundation raises money for the parks and trails, for the maintenance of the parks and trails. So all of our parks, so we raise money for Scales Lake and for Friedman Park, and then the trails throughout the county. They're all obviously funded through the county. And as we all know, county funding is not super high, right?
Not fantastic.
And if you look at how everything's funded in our county, parks are at the very bottom, which is kind of well, I don't know if that's surprising, but I don't think it's necessarily fitting, especially from what we found from the pandemic last year, is that parks were quadrupled the attendance because that's where people go when they want to get together and gather with their family and friends safely.
Yeah.
So anyway, the funding is super low. So if, for instance, Joe, who's the park manager, needs a piece of equipment, he can't, instead of going through the county and going through the steps of getting funding and maybe not necessarily being approved, he can come to us and say, listen, this is why I need XYZ. This is why I need another tractor. And then we can purchase it for him.
Oh, wow.
So that's what we do. We're a new organization, and we actually started in January of 2020. So it's a perfect timing to start an organization.
Oh, absolutely.
And nonprofit. So we are building up our funding as we go. We just completed the fundraising to build a dog park in Friedman Park.
Oh, very
sweet.
nice.
Yeah, so that is sort of where most of our funding has gone so far. And then we'll move into, like I said, additional things for Friedman and Scales.
Very nice. And I do want to point out, she mentioned Friedman Park, which is where this event took place. Can you tell people where that's at? There are still some people in our community that are like, Friedman Park, what's that?
Well, I know, and I don't know. There's some maps that don't necessarily have it on there. So it's technically located at 2700 Park Boulevard. But if you put in Park Street comes up and you go to downtown Newburgh.
Right.
So it's Park
Wrong
Boulevard. No, definitely not the right place. Right. So basically, if you take Oak Grove Road, which most people know from Evansville on the east side, take Oak Grove Road all the way out into Newburgh, past Newburgh, you get to the park. It's on the left.
Can't miss it.
So yeah, there's a sign. People still do miss it, but
yeah.
So you can miss it.
You
we
can.
hope not.
You shouldn't miss it. There's a big sign, left turn. You should be able to find it pretty easily, but I've actually been out there for many, many events and had people call me and say, hey, where am I supposed to be at exactly?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, guys, it's an enormous park. How can you not
Well,
find
once you get back there, I mean, it is in the middle of that neighborhood, like to get through it.
Yeah.
But once you get back there, I mean, we are so lucky to have that park.
Oh, absolutely.
It's incredible.
Absolutely.
So, and then the event center too, which
Yeah.
just opened probably, gosh, it's not even been a year yet.
We had our Realtor of the Year banquet there at that event center.
Awesome.
It's gorgeous.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful facility.
The space is wonderful.
Yeah. So, and it's got that awesome lake right out one side. And whenever the clouds let go and the sunset was
The
coming
view's
on during that,
incredible.
beautiful out there.
Yeah, we're really lucky, especially when there's a rainstorm when you're supposed to have an event outside. Yeah,
Exactly.
we lucked out because Plan B could have been a lot different. So
what Plan C next year? Everything's
For the
going to go
snowstorm?
perfectly.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. What's on the docket?
So how we had
I'm sure you've already thought about it. It's only been 5 days since the
exactly.
event.
Yeah, I've had plenty of time to think that over. So what we had planned for this year is probably what we'll go with next year because the layout was incredible. Because in our first year, did you go the first year?
Did not.
Okay, our first year-
Actually, we drove up and we saw the line and we're like,
said, "No, thanks."
we'll take you to Walmart get some candy.
I heard a lot of people say they thought about doing that when they got to the line because, like Laurel said, 3,000 people.
The line was quite long, but no one complained, which I thought was very interesting.
Incredible.
To you.
Yeah, maybe did they complain to you guys?
No.
Oh.
No.
We were Mario and Luigi. They didn't have anything to complain
The
about.
only complaints we got were, hey, my kids aren't here. They love you. Can we get a photo of you guys to take back to the kids?
Why didn't they have their kids with them? They just went trick or treating by
I think it was
themselves.
like they had one kid that had to be
that
home
makes
for
more
some
sense.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if anybody was going to get the complaints, I feel like it was Brad in the parking, my
Yeah,
husband.
absolutely.
And he didn't hear a whole lot. He did have one person turn around and said, "Forget it, I'm not doing it."
Yeah.
But the rest of them waited in line. So
That's right. Okay, Halloween doesn't like those people either.
no, exactly. But there were also parents that said, "I'll take you anywhere you want to go. Get any candy you want." And the kid said, "The candy I want is in there.
It's in there.
That's
I'm
where
going
it
in
is.
this
I
place and
know
I'm
it.
getting this candy.
Placed in gold.
Yeah. So anyway, the plan was originally that we were going to have the layout was going to be as you walk into the park from the event center, that path, it was going to have booths that were going to be probably 20 feet apart. We had it all set up Friday.
Right.
We spent 11 hours setting it up
Yeah.
outside to drag it all inside the next day. But it was going to go all the way around the park. So you would have a good quarter-mile loop through the park. We had the old Dam Community Band. They were going to play in the amphitheater. That's where the costume contest was going to happen.
Sure.
Food trucks in 2 different spots. Hay rides that would go back in the woods.
Sure.
So that layout's really ideal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was looking at the map and I thought it looked incredible. I was like,
did.
yeah, you guys did a great job planning it out.
I'll just
So
put that in my files for next year.
Maybe you'll get an opportunity to use it in the
let's
future.
go.
You're already ready for next year.
Yeah, planning is done.
Now, I got one question, and this only came up because we got so many photos. Like, can the vendors participate next year in the costume contest?
Yeah, I don't see why not. See, this was our first foray into costume contest. Not my. not my best, but we wanted to
was
just test
great.
it out and see what happened.
Hey,
so it was small.
Shout out to the family that won. Actually, a client of ours.
They were so cute.
And they win my pumpkin carving contest that I do every single year as
So
well.
Halloween's their thing.
That's their thing. So they were with me before I even had a team, and they've been in that carving contest the entire time, and now they beat everybody all the time.
You bring this up, and there was a family that came by later that if they were there, I think would have stolen the show.
What was it?
Back to the
was
Future?
Marty McFly, Doc, and his mom from Back to the Future.
did not see
and
them.
the only reason was he had the actual hoverboard and the light-up tennis shoes.
It was
Really?
Oh,
It
it
was
was epic.
it was
you
insane.
loved it.
I loved it.
Your vote went
They
to
walked
them.
through the door, and I just started applauding, like, bravo, bravo.
And the dad was like, "So when's the costume contest?" It's like, "Ooh, about
People
that."
were really, so that's the other thing. We'll have to beef up the costume contest, get bigger prizes, maybe have, figure it out a little bit better for next year. But we were just testing the waters. But I had more emails about that costume contest. I was like, geez, Louise, I had no idea.
Yeah, people care about their costumes.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do. Yeah. You could definitely tell.
Yeah. Like,
So, since we're on the costumes, and so, like, what was your guys' biggest takeaways of costume this year? Like, was there one that just stood out to you, like your favorite, this, that, or the other, or was there a theme that kind of?
At the very end, I saw a guy that was dressed, and he was like a canine dog, but it was like a full mascot outfit. Did you see that guy?
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, we did. It was the one that you said. Is she an actress or is that person
Oh,
an actress?
yeah.
It was a freshman from Castle.
Yeah.
and she was in marching band or something else. But
Show choir.
Show choir. That's what it was. She was incredible. She looked like a mascot. She looked like she probably worked at a Disney park or something. Like it was.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was an insane costume.
Yeah.
And I know we talked a little bit about this too, not to jump in front of you. I felt like there was a big like women's empowerment thing this year, like women dressed as cops. Like that was a big thing.
Did you see that?
I
didn't
saw a
see
lot of
anybody
We
girls.
dressed
saw
as cops.
more girls dressed
As
as police
cops.
officers than we saw boys.
Like little girls.
Like little girls.
I think that is so
Oh,
awesome.
that's pretty cool.
Now,
Yeah.
and I'm going to go ahead and jump out here and say my favorite superhero costume of the evening, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yes.
Is it, like-
the
I
must have
notorious
missed all of
RBG.
these.
Oh,
I was in
that
the
is some
midst of-
awesome parenting going on
She
there.
walked through it. I was like, "Are you Ruth Bader Ginsburg?" And she looked at her mom and she's like, "Is that who I am?" and her dad's like,
my
"Yes, that's who you are."
gosh.
That and Paul Stanley from Kiss. That little
I did
Yes.
see the little kid dressed like that. Yes. I should have gotten a picture.
good
Yeah,
parenting. Going
Not to
on.
toot
Love
our
it.
own horns, but I was actually, and Greg and I both talked about this at the end. Like we were blown away at like how many children like thought we were actually Mario and Luigi.
it was kinda
like
creepy.
It was like, oh my gosh. They're like, we
you
watch
loved
you.
every second
We
of it.
watch you every day, and I was like, oh, thank you.
So with that accord, I think next year we should do like autographs and like actually design our booth with bricks and the music and everything. I don't think that we can go away from Mario and Luigi.
I don't either. And I think maybe you get like 8x10 glossies of you guys that are like back to back and
I
design
think
them with
so.
Sharpies.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we threw around like Maverick and Goose, but like
Mario and Luigi,
Mario
it's
and Luigi.
tried and
much
true.
more
It's just classic.
accepted.
And the other thing is I really have no other use for those bib overalls I bought, so
there you go.
they'll
I'm
still
sure
be
Greg
fresh.
does.
yeah,
But-
I did. Wedgies.
No, I think
Anyway.
you should do that. I think you've got a good thing going.
We kind of digressed there, but that was fun.
Yeah.
Talking about costumes. So so we're talking Parks and Rec, not Parks and Rec. Great show, by the way.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Are you inspired by what's her name on the show?
Leslie Nope.
So
Leslie
the
Knope?
crazy thing about that is I've never seen that show.
Are you serious?
Never seen it.
Oh,
No.
So I've got
And
an
I
idea.
like
I've
all
got
of
an
the
idea for an
people.
event. Why don't we do a Parks and Rec in the park, and we
Oh.
can like watch it sometime?
That could be fun.
Oh, it is.
Or like a dress up.
Yes,
thing.
that would
Yeah.
be awesome.
Definitely.
Okay.
So, what other events does?
Okay, so the
we need to
Parks
get comfortable
Foundation.
for this one?
Yes, this is going to take a minute because we just kind of as a new organization tried out different things to see what worked, and so we're still
So,
kind of
like,
doing
is
that.
this your thing? Like, they say here, Laurel, figure this out and run with it?
So okay, I've been on the Evansville Parks Foundation board for probably 12 years.
Okay.
In my previous life when I worked at the Chamber of Commerce.
I've known you for a long time. I had no
You
idea.
did not know that. Okay. So I worked for the Chamber of Commerce and I quit when Alice was 1. So she's 11 now. So 10 years ago. And then I worked for a woman in Naples, Florida. I did PR for a company for 10 years.
Okay.
And then, so I was on the Warrick Trails Board, which is another organization in our community that builds the trails. We fundraise to maintain the trails. My sister and I were on that board and we were like, I don't know anything about concrete. I don't know anything about getting federal funding. I don't know anything about this stuff, but I can throw a party.
There you go.
So we started Party in Paradise.
Oh,
so
yes.
That was This was our 4th year of doing it.
Which is an incredible event. I was so sad I couldn't make it to this year's
It is
event.
so fun.
Yes.
So we started that on the board of Warrick Trails.
Nice.
And then that grew into its 3rd year. So last year, my husband said, okay, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like you probably need to do this for your living, make a living off of this instead of this is a volunteer gig.
Yeah.
Then it just so happened that the Warrick Parks Foundation was formed. So when they went to form that, they asked me to be the executive director.
Boom.
Yeah. So it worked out well. So I do well hosting events.
Yes.
So
We need to make a note of that and call her next time we have a client party.
there you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm good at that. I can partying. I'm good at. You should probably cut that out. But anyway, so we host Party in Paradise, like I said. We host Run Victoria is an event that Warrick Trails did previous to me being involved, but we now co-host it.
Okay.
Which is a run. It's the only time you can run through Victoria National, which is
gorgeous.
so beautiful.
And as a former caddy out at Victoria, it is not a run that you will forget.
No.
So many hills.
So my sister and I did it one year. I guess it's been 3 years ago. And we were like, train. Who needs a train? It'll be fine.
You need a train.
It is incredibly hard.
I walked the course for the first time this year because we always have Tucker tent out
Yep.
at the Corn Ferry Championship. And I'm like, I'm going to walk around. I've never been around the course too much. And I was like, holy cow.
It is a lot. And it makes you actually think about, well, you caddying and then those professional caddies that walk with those bags all day long.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we have Run Victoria and then Halloween in the Park, Party in Paradise. We have movies in the park in the summer, which are free events. We have 4 movies during the summer that you can just come, we have food trucks that come out and you just come and bring your blankets and chairs and come watch a movie for free.
Nice.
And we have a 30-foot blow-up screen that goes on the stage at the amphitheater, so it's really cool. And then Halloween, like I said, and then next year in February, we are having our very first gala.
Oh.
Gala or
Gala?
Gala.
no matter how you pronounce it, we're going to let you in.
Yeah.
No matter how you pronounce
Probably should
it,
put
you're
that
going to
up
have
as
fun.
a poll, gala or gala.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll have to do that for
Make
sure.
it interactive.
Is this a black tie affair?
It is.
Oh.
We look good in suits.
Fancy.
I think we might have to put that on the calendar.
I think you should.
You said February 28th, right?
February 26th.
Check my. I'm good.
Okay, good. He's available.
I'm
It should be. So we had like I said, I told you guys earlier, we had our first meeting today with our volunteers that put this event together, and we have some seriously fun things planned.
Sweet.
We're talking about a band that a girl on the committee had listened to play before, and they are incredible, a 9-piece band with a sax.
Oh, yeah?
Like the whole big time. So black tie, formal.
Sweet.
Should be a lot of fun. We don't have anything like that in the area, and that's sort of what I get excited about is doing things that no one else is doing.
yeah.
Right.
So while there are some other, I shouldn't say nobody's doing, but we haven't had something nice like that in Warrick County, I don't feel like.
No, not
At that
really.
event center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, especially at that event center, like that would be the place to do something like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
So that's coming up.
February 26th.
Oh, and
mark
Easter in the
calendar.
park.
It's already like how we're going to do.
Yeah,
this.
you guys have to get a table for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
Easter in the park. Tell us about that.
So Easter in the park was also another thing that was born out of COVID.
Right.
But it turned into an animal of its own as well. Last year was our first year hosting that. And we had, I wish I could remember, I want to say it was somewhere around 10,000 eggs.
Holy cow.
Whoa.
Yeah. 10,000 eggs. We had
Are people still finding them out in the park?
lanes, probably, because again, we didn't know what to expect because it wasn't a sign up thing.
Wouldn't
So
you
we
hate
just
to be
didn't-
the mower guy that week?
Oh my gosh, there's like gum. There's probably like gum flying out of there. But we had like 2,500 kids show up, 2,500 people show up. So
That's
with their
incredible.
children,
Wow.
out for an Easter egg hunt. We had the Easter bunny out there for pictures. We had food trucks. It was just another, like I've told so many people, with that park, it has become, if you build it, they will come. If we put something on out there, knock on wood, most of the time, we have a great attendance because the park is such a beautiful environment.
You know, for all the events that I've been to, I've loved them. Everything that I haven't been able to make it out to, I've heard great things. So
That's good.
you're doing something right.
Okay, good.
obviously.
That's what we want to
Yes.
hear. I don't know if you're just buttering me up, but I'll take it.
No,
are.
I mean, Greg might do that, but I'll be
When I leave,
brutally
you're gonna
honest.
be
Be
like,
like,
not fun events.
like, who is
Isn't
that,
it
by the
amazing
way?
how these food trucks have like really added to the versatility of these events?
Oh, yeah.
Knowing that you don't have to set up the concession stand,
It's
and
so
I mean that's
nice.
a whole nother bear altogether. And plus, they're good.
Yeah. And I think they do really well too.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
we try to make sure I follow up with my food trucks every time after our events and just say, was it worth your time? Was it worth being out there? Did you make the money that you thought you would? And most of the time it's yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we like working with them.
Yeah.
And I feel like people find stuff they like every single time. My mom had never had Chino Taco before from this event. I was like, how's that possible? She's like, I think I'm going to start following them now. I'm like, you're a Chino Taco groupie now, Mom.
So
and that's okay.
I'll be honest. Like I've had so many of all the food trucks around here. Like you can't go wrong. But Chino Taco is just so good. Oh yeah, always. Yeah. Like I was like talking to my wife before we went out to Halloween in the park, and I was like, oh man, there's gonna be food trucks out there. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna have plenty of food to eat. I never made it out there because we had so many kids.
See that?
But that's
happens.
a testament to how great it is.
Yeah.
Which just means next year we have to hire some help to stay behind the
you're
table
going to have
for
to
us
like
every
take
once in a while.
shifts.
Yeah.
My husband, he works parking at all of our events. He gets stuck out there, but he never eats either. And that's not probably a good thing.
Well, from what I saw with the guys parking, they were doing okay.
They're having fun.
They were having a great time.
It's about having fun and getting people parked.
And fun it was.
Yeah. So
any other cool events or fundraisers or anything that we need to know about?
So
how can we get involved?
Okay. So after the fundraising for the dog park, that will open, I'm hoping soon, a couple weeks.
Do you have a grand marshal or a ribbon cutter for the dog park? Because I've got a dog.
That should be the grand
I
marshal,
really
you
think she would draw the crowd.
I'll have to think about that one.
Okay.
Draw a crowd. Your dog's going to, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does she have her own Instagram yet, Greg?
No.
You got the
but
wheels
she's
turning.
got a couple of what's the thing all the kids are doing these days?
TikToks?
Yeah. And by kids, he means himself.
In Greg's
What are all the kids?
In Greg's defense, I have a TikTok. It has 3 videos, the latest of which was posted just over a year ago.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So after that, we're raising funds for Scales Lake Park, just a small little fundraiser of $500,000 to update that park.
Whoa.
So,
Wow.
Yeah, it's always something. So there's a million
And you know,
things.
if you've never been out to Scales, what's keeping you?
Yeah, you're missing out.
So
this time of year,
yeah,
so pretty.
Yeah. So I will admit that I had only been out there a handful of times prior to COVID.
Right.
Then when you're stuck at home with 2 kids and have nothing to do, it's like we got to figure out something that's open. And so I was like, let's just go out to Scales and ride bikes or walk or whatever. We fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Petting zoo. I mean, the kids absolutely love it. Now, it needs updates. It needs some help. And again, it's county funded. So
Sure.
they don't have necessarily the budget to update the things that they want done out there. So
In comes Laurel with her super cape.
well, I don't know about that. So this is a harder one because it's, updating playgrounds. I mean, it's expensive.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So updating 3 playgrounds, updating 4 cabins, new furniture, new decor, refacing the shelter house because all of this stuff was built in the 80s, and you can tell. I mean, it serves its purpose, but like we want to update it and make it look like
Right.
the rest of our park facilities.
Sure.
And at some point they're talking about a new gatehouse in the beginning, but in the entrance, but I don't know that we're involved in that piece of it. But
Gotcha.
yeah, it needs some help, and we're hopeful that we're able to do that.
So what kind of fundraising event are you going to do?
Well, we did a Scales Lake Day, which was just a kickoff, just to announce it, and
Okay.
we had free pizza and free Kona ice.
Nice.
You remember that
Yeah.
weekend? There was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then that's probably going to be grant
I
funded.
do remember that weekend. Yeah.
But,
Dynamite drop in there, Laurel.
yeah, you like that? And
I feel like there's a story there. We'll have
There
to
is.
explore that
It's
in
not
another
for
podcast.
video.
no, I mean, we went out to dinner
Fair.
with our families.
A Mexican dinner the night before a big
Enough said. I know all about those.
So, anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, that's going to be like grant. I'm going to have to work on grant funding and corporations, local organizations helping me fund that. So we'll see.
So if you watch and you've got money at a corporation, her contact information is going to be on there. Reach out.
just send me some money, please.
Don't even call. Just send them money.
Non-consecutive 20s.
I promise we can use it. Yes. Oh gosh. So there's a lot going on.
Good deal.
Especially in like a 2-year-old, not even 2-year-old organization.
For
We
a
are
fledgling organization,
hit
you
the
have
ground
a
running.
lot going on,
Yeah.
which is impressive.
It just blows my mind that it's 2 years old.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere.
And it's like you've been doing it for a decade. I mean,
Well,
that's the
it
thing
kind
that
of
really...
it kind of feels like that. But there was at one point, I don't even remember, because Greg used to coach my daughter's softball. He still coaches softball, but my daughter doesn't play anymore. When he was like, "Wait, don't you just volunteer for them?" And I was like, "Is that just like a little volunteer gig you do?" I'm like, "No,
And I
that's
was
my
like,
job.
You have a job?
You work? I do.
Thanks,
I do.
Greg.
Yeah,
I
it's a lot.
legit didn't know. But like,
Got a lot. I got a few things going on.
you do a lot of great work. It's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
thanks.
All right. Well, Greg, Laurel, thanks again so much for coming in today. I really appreciate all the information. I mean, Greg, thank you for bringing this to my attention.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't have even known about this volunteer opportunity if it wasn't for Greg. So, Laurel,
Now I can find more things for you to do.
Don't
worry.
I'm really bad about saying no. Ask my wife. She tells me I'm too involved all the time.
And I'll go ahead and jump the gun here and say, when you get an opportunity, we want to be the first ones called.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Nobody else.
Okay.
You pick up the phone, you call us first.
Okay. Got it.
Sounds good.
You guys are going to be so tired of me. I'm fundraising for a bazillion
We'll call
things.
Greg first,
Yeah.
and then let him call me.
Let me filter
Then
it.
he's going to stop answering my phone calls. He'll be like, nope, no
Like,
more.
oh, Laurel's calling again.
Oh, what you
Voicemail.
doing now?
Busy.
Well, thanks again for coming in. Hey, Laurel, if you can do me a real quick favor, let us know where the people can find you best online for the Warrick Park Foundation.
It's at warrickparksfoundation.org. Parks, plural.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Aaron, don't let this be the last time to have me on for a while. Let's do this again.
Hey, Greg, don't worry. This will be a very frequent event.
Regular. I like it.
Thanks,
Awesome.
guys.
Thanks.
Hey, this is Aaron Luttrull. Thank you so much for checking out the Aaron Advantage podcast. If you would like to be a guest, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. We're always looking for other people to interview.